Well, originally I'm from Scotland. I moved to America when I was 20 years old, joined the US Coast Guard. Once I finished my tour with the Coast Guard, I joined Oceaneering as an ROV pilot and spent 9 years operating ROV systems in the Gulf of Mexico. One of the biggest problems we had is we're trying to make this system a zero leak system, which means we don't want to leak any hydraulic oil into the environment. With this tool having hydraulic motors on the tool that actually lock it onto the flange, we first attempted using some glycol-based fluids that are more environmentally friendly. The motors were unable to function with that fluid. So then we had to go back to using a hydraulic fluid. Then we had the problem of how do we connect to this tool and not create a leak. We've had to incorporate a coupler manifold setup that's a zero leak system so that when we mate and unmate to this plug, there is no release of hydrocarbon to the environment. The tool we developed is the MFP, which stands for the multi-function plug. It's basically a protective cover that's going to cover the flange of the 9105 hull piping that's going to allow us to intervene with multiple tools without damaging the seal face. We work with a company called Cianic that helped design and develop the tool based on our concepts and design criteria. With this tool installed, it allows us to operate various other tools. So we can install a flushing plug, we can do pressure tests, we can install an inspection camera going through this plug without ever having to remove it and risk damage to the flange seal. Any damage to this flange seal would be a major concern. That would be a huge undertaking to get that repaired. My expectation of this tool is once we get it installed, that it will remain installed throughout the entire operation so that flange seal will never be exposed to risk of damage from any of the tools that will be running through that multifunction plug. One of the nice things about doing these SITs before we go offshore, it gives us the chance to capture possible problems that we'll have offshore. One of the biggest hurdles we've had with this tool is the size of it. The tool is actually about 160 pounds heavier than it was designed to be. They tested that yesterday by putting it in the tank and getting a weight on it. It looks like we're going to have to add some flotation to it to assist in the operation offshore. We incorporate some of the methods that we use subsea on the seafloor in like 6,000 feet of water. Subsea, the ROVs install the steel flying leads all the time. These pilots do these operations every day, so we try and incorporate the same operation on what we do in shallow water. Basically, it should be a fairly simple operation for these pilots because it's something they're used to doing subsea in the deeper depths. We've tried to limit the use of the manipulators. When the ROVs are working in shallow waters, they have a lot of environment conditions pushing them around. There's wave action, current. This tool has been designed where once he's docked in with the flying lead orientation tool, everything from then on is just push button. This tool only has to be installed one time. We don't want to be installing something over and over again on a flange that has a sealing surface that we don't want to damage by any means. By installing this plug one time, it makes all the other tools interface with it a lot smaller, easier to control. It will just make the job go smoother.